Howard Gardner is the creator of the theory of multiple intelligence. He has been in the field for over 50 years, written over 29 books and essays about psychology, education, and the way we think. He is currently director of Project Zero at Harvard University. In 2005 and again in 2008, Gardner was selected by Foreign Policy and Prospects magazine as one of the 100 most influential public intellectuals. His theory of multiple intelligence is being used in classrooms around the world and influencing how curriculum is being developed.
The idea of multiple intelligences comes out of psychology. It's a theory that was developed to document the fact that human beings have very different kinds of intellectual strengths, and that these strengths are very, very important in how kids learn, and how people represent things in their minds, and then how people use them in order to show what it is that they've understood.
So, what are the multiple intelligences? The first is logical mathematical intelligence, the capacity to understand the underlying principles of some kind of causal system, the way a scientist or logician does, and the way this student is solving a complex mathematical problem with ease. The second is musical rhythmic intelligence, the capacity to think in music, to be able to hear patterns, recognize them, and perhaps manipulate them. People who have strong musical intelligence like this student don't just remember music easily, they can't get it out of their minds, it's so omnipresent. The third, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, is the capacity to use your whole body or parts of your body to solve a problem or make something or put on some kind of production. This young man feels like he must act out the words of the book or dance to a song going on in the background. Spatial intelligence is the ability to represent the spatial world internally in your mind, like charting a game of chess a few moves ahead. Intrapersonal intelligence is having an understanding of yourself, knowing who you are, what you can do, and what your capacities are. We are drawn to people who have a good understanding of themselves, and who reflect on their daily actions. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability to understand other people. It's an ability we all need, but it's especially important for teachers, salespersons, or politicians, anyone who deals with other people. The seventh is linguistic intelligence, the capacity to use language to express what's on your mind and to understand other people. This is especially important for any writer, speaker, lawyer, or any other person, like a public speaker. Next is naturalist intelligence, the ability to discriminate among living things, plants and animals, and sensitivity to other features of the natural world, like rocks, cloud configurations, and the leaves of a tree.
So how can we use the theory of multiple intelligence in the classroom? Let's look at bodily kinesthetic. When you're in the classroom, try to think of creative ways to get your students up and moving. Bodily kinesthetic learners love to be active and moving around the classroom. Linguistic. The linguistic intelligence can be used for teaching new vocabulary words in the classroom. Playing games. Your future lawyers or politicians will love how you teach them new words in the classroom. Musical and rhythmic intelligence. Anytime you can incorporate music into a lesson, whether it be by actually bringing a song into the classroom or teaching them something, or a rhythm or a pattern, rhythmic and music intelligence learners love this. The naturalist intelligence. Take your lesson from inside the classroom, outside the classroom. try to incorporate anything that has to do with plants or nature into your lesson. Your naturalist learners will appreciate this. Logical mathematical. Your logical mathematic intelligence learners will love having to do anything with numbers and incorporating it in any way to any one of your lessons. Interpersonal intelligence. Get your students to write essays. Your interpersonal learners will love this. They love to think and write about themselves. Interpersonal intelligence learners. Put them in groups. Let them socialize. They love to be around other people, love to be in the center of attention, and they love working with other people. Spatial intelligence. Anytime you can incorporate some kind of building, some kind of puzzle making or critical thinking into your lesson and really getting your learner to think, this really attracts the spatial thinker. These are your future architects. Incorporate things like that into your lesson. So what are the criticisms of multiple intelligence theory? Evidence. Many believe that there is not enough empirical evidence and support to go with the idea that there are 8 multiple intelligences. Many still believe in the G factor, or what is known as the Spearman G. Basically, that the G factor was discovered by the first mental testers who found that people who scored well on one type of mental test tended to score well on all of them, regardless of their contents. So there isn't enough support for MI theory. Research. It also says that there's not enough research done in the classrooms that the theory is actually working. And the last one is the deliberate dumbing down of the curriculum to make believe that everyone is smart.
I think for there to be long-standing change in American education that is widespread rather than just on the margins, first of all, people have to see examples of places which are like their own places where the new kind of education really works, where students are learning deeply, where they can exhibit their knowledge publicly, and where everybody who looks at the kids says, that's the kind of kids I want to have. So we need to have enough good examples. Second of all, we need to have the individuals who are involved in education, primarily teachers and administrators, believe in this, really want to do it, and get the kind of help that they need in order to be able to switch, so to speak, from a teacher-centered, let's stuff it into the kid's mind kind of education to one where the preparation is behind the scenes and the child himself or herself is at the center of learning. Third of all, I think we need to have assessment schemes which really convince everybody that this kind of education is working. It does no good to have child-centered learning and then have the same old multiple choice tests which were used 50 or 100 years ago. Finally, I think there has to be a political commitment which says that this is kind of education which we want to have in our country and maybe outside this country for the foreseeable future. And as long as people are busy bashing teachers or saying that we can't try anything new because it might fail, then reform will be stifled as it has been in the past.